My name is Ben Shapiro, and I'm the founding member of SIH Capital Group. I want to start off by thanking you guys for taking your time today to listen to this presentation. The SIH Core Income 1 Fund is a multi-asset fund that invests in alternative assets with a focus on commercial real estate. I started SIH Capital Group because of my own frustrations in looking for an investment that paid a sufficient income that wasn't subject to a wild move in the stock price that could wipe out years of income with one single market decline. This happened to me so often that I came to the conclusion that investing in equities is a great tool for creating wealth, but not great for cash flow. SIH Core Income 1 was created to complement an equity portfolio, not exactly replace it. The deficiencies of the stock market are the strengths of our fund. I am pleased to introduce SIH Core Income 1. Disclaimer: this offering is for credit investors only. The most common definition of an accredited investor is earned income that exceeds $200,000 or $300,000 with a spouse in each of the prior 2 years and reasonably expects the same for the current year, or has a net worth of over $1 million, either alone or together with a spouse, excluding the value of the person's residence, the primary residence. Important to note that this is an investment, and all investments have risks. Some investors may never get their return and may lose all of their initial capital. Real estate investments are liquid. All prospective investors should consult with their tax, financial, legal, and other professionals to determine if investing is suitable for their individual needs. That being said, this presentation is not a solicitation for investment, but instead meant to point you to our private placement memorandum and operating agreement where you can get more information about SIH Core Income 1. A little bit about us. SIH Capital Group was built on a mission of providing consistent preferred income to our accredited investors without using Wall Street investments. What makes us different is our investor roots and core values. While other fund operators find scores of reasons to charge fees, we charge no management or placement fees to our limited partners. Our profit comes after you have received your full preferred return, not a penny before. Our model is built for simplicity, transparency, and honesty. Those are the 3 attributes that we look for when we make our investments. The returns have always followed suit. A little bit about me. I began investing in real estate in 2012. I've invested in both active and passive deals across various asset types. I've invested in note funds, promissory notes, mobile home parks, affordable housing, short-term vacation rentals, crowdfunding, and luxury apartment deals. After graduating with a BBA, I went on to get my MBA from Baruch College. I began working for the United States government. It was a job that I had for over a decade. In my roles with the government, I served as a liaison to the public and various state agencies. Working for such a large institution provided me with a unique view of the importance of portfolio allocation and management. Investors first. We put our investors first because we designed the fund that way. You won't find any placement or asset management fees on our line items. Conservative portfolio. We believe a conservative portfolio is one that's well diversified. We leverage our network to invest in some of the best operators in their respective industries. Whether it's apartment buildings, mobile home parks, private notes, ATM funds, or blended funds, otherwise known as multi-asset funds, we make sure that our operators' track records speak for themselves. Preferred distribution. Our motto is to invest in your preferred life. When you invest with us, your returns come before ours. It's one less thing you should have to worry about. Do good. We work with operators who believe in improving the lives of their residents. Whether it's adding security, cameras, nightlights, or a children's playground, we want to see more than just profits from the investments SIH makes. Ever since I can remember, investing in income has always been a struggle for me. The same challenges arose time and time again. Some of these challenges were confusing and high fees, the time commitment that it took to actually learn about the actual asset, not knowing who to trust or where to start because everybody says they're the best, high investment minimums. Most of the minimums on commercial real estate deals start at $50,000 and then increase from there, and dealing with Wall Street volatility when I tried the more traditional invest in Wall Street for income route. When I started investing for income, I tried all the most common strategies found on Wall Street. I invested in REITs, MLPs, closed-ended funds, blue chip stocks, utilities, and options. All those strategies left me underperforming the stock market. When I switched to an index portfolio, I received a staggering 2% cash yield on my investment. Even worse, in the last few years, and especially during COVID, many of the biggest dividend-paying stocks either significantly reduced their dividend payout or cut them entirely. Three of the biggest blue-chip names out there, GE, GM, and Wells Fargo, all left their investors shocked as the dividend cuts were announced, stopping, in some cases, decades of dividend payments. Even the S&P 500 saw a decline of over 34% during the most recent COVID pullback. We started by introducing our company and our values. Our fund is a direct result of dealing with the frustration of investing for income. Now let us show you a different way, our preferred way for your preferred life. Our solution. We believe in no management fees. That means you will not find any asset management fees or placement fees. This is very unique for the fund model. Most funds out there actually do charge for these expenses. Number two, completely passive. After you make your investment, you are done. We make ACH distributions right into your bank account and provide you updates on the fund's performance. Number three, our fund is diversified into 5 distinct asset classes. We'll go over more of them in the following slide. Number four, our low minimums are less than a fifth of some of the other funds out there. Most of the funds out there start at $50,000. We wanted to make this a little bit more accessible and start at only $10,000. Number five, no Wall Street investments. None of our assets are traded on Wall Street. We think this is really important. In comparison to the recent COVID-induced stock market that saw declines of up to 34%, commercial real estate did remarkably well. Even though selling activity slowed, the prices of commercial real estate actually remained stable during this whole time. Lastly, due diligence. SIH Capital runs background checks on all our operators. Afterwards, we stay in contact with our operators to find out what's going on with the deals that we invest in. Most of the time, we spend years in talks with operators before investing with them. Our projected portfolio. The main investment that will be found in our fund are apartment buildings. We invest in everything from affordable housing to luxury rentals. The United States is experiencing growing demand for quality rentals, but the supply is simply not keeping up with demand. We believe this will serve as a tailwind for the foreseeable future. Next is mobile home communities. Mobile home communities share some of the same similarities to apartment buildings, that where the demand is far outweighing the new supply out there. Actually, there's been almost no new supply in the last few decades. Mobile home parks have a terrible reputation. While some parks are deserving of that reputation, most parks are safe, family-oriented communities that provide an affordable opportunity for residents to own or rent their own home. Private real estate notes. Private real estate notes allow the investor to become the bank. The notes are backed by the equity in a real estate property and offer a quick exit than the other investments in this fund. ATM funds are high cash flowing assets that require a great deal of due diligence prior to investing. The average hold time is 7 years. A common misconception for the investor is since the average investor in the ATM wouldn't use an ATM, that means that the ATM user actually will stop using the ATM. In fact, even with new technology, cash circulation has increased tremendously in the United States in just the last few years. Blended real estate funds, or sometimes known as multi-asset funds. These funds provide instant diversification to our fund. We invest in our fund operators to tap into their existing portfolio of 100 performing assets. What's unique about our portfolio is our ability to blend cash flow focused assets like private real estate notes and ATM funds with more traditional long-term assets like apartment buildings and mobile home parks to create a portfolio that can pay the preferred return while increasing the margin of safety as our long-term assets appreciate. Our projected returns are 7% preferred. If the 7% are not met at any time, it is accrued and rolled over to the following years. As an investor, your 7% comes first. At the end of the fund's life, which is expected to be 10 years, you will receive your entire capital investment and any accrued preferred returns. The fund's life may be less than 10 years, and as an operator, we reserve the right to return capital and any accrued preferred returns back to the investor if we can't find an investment that meets our conservative underwriting. What makes us different? Our investor-first mentality. We created this fund for ourselves to fulfill a void we couldn't find in the existing investment world. This is why we are the fund's biggest investor, and we plan to remain that way. Our access to operators. In this industry, who you work with is as important, if not more important, than the deal itself. Our creative responsibility. We only invest in operators that provide a high standard of living for their residents. When residents call their place home, our investors win. First, we get to know you. This investment is not right for everybody. It is a 10-year hold for an investor that values capital preservation and yield over appreciation. Secondly, by investing in our fund, you become a limited partner. You contribute capital into our fund along with other partners, including myself. We then go out and invest the funds exclusively in the assets that we described earlier. We do this by leveraging our expertise and network to work with some of the best experienced operators and negotiate favorable terms. After the investment, SIH Capital provides a simple passive income stream to you and all other limited partners at a preferred rate of return, which means you will always get paid first. At the end of the fund's hold period, you will receive your original capital investment and any accrued preferred return. Thank you guys for taking your time, and feel free to reach out to me at the email below with any questions or to set up a time for us to talk. Thank you and have a great day.